Prep. My name is Ashish Bhargav. कैसे हैं आप सब? So, dear aspirants, today is very important day because Nirmala Sitharaman announced the Union Budget 2024-2025. You will stand to know that this year there are two budget was announced. So, dear friend, let me clear. In the every year, once the election is announced, before elections it was started by the Nirmala Sitharaman. Before elections, we conducted interim budget, and after the elections we conduct the full-fledged budget. So that is why yesterday that was announced economic survey. Just after the economic survey, budget is announced. What exactly is the major difference between budget and economic survey, dear friends? Economic survey is for the previous financial year. हमारे पास पैसा कहाँ से आया, हमने कहाँ पे खर्च किया, एंड बजट इज़ फॉर द अपकमिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर. क्या क्या बजट में आज हमारे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने अनाउंस किया है, विल गेट टू नो इन वेरी डिटेल मैनर. सो इफ़ यू आर न्यू दिस चैनल, प्लीज सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल and do not forget to press the bell icon. So before we start the budget session, let me know if my voice is audible. Am I visible to each and everyone? Am I audible and visible? Okay. So dear friend, this is important to say कि बजट जो है आज का बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. एंड जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि बजट सेशन में आज सीतारमन जी ने क्या क्या चीज़ें अनाउंस की. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यहाँ पे कोट है, फेलियर इज़ वन ऑफ द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बिगिन अगेन, दिस टाइम मोर इंटेलिजेंटली. तो उसके बाद सबसे पहले हम जानेंगे कि बजट की शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई, हाउ द वर्ड बजट स्टार्टेड, एंड देन वी गो टू द वेरी डिटेल मैनर व्हाट एग्जैक्टली द things announced by our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman. See my friend, the word budget is said to have its origin from the French word baguette, which refers to a small leather bag. The budget is an annual financial statement which show the estimated income expenditure of the government for the forthcoming financial year. So dear friend, as per the constitution, it is a document जिसमें कि पार्लियामेंट्री अप्रूवल होते हैं, प्लान ऑफ पब्लिक रेवेन्यू एंड एक्सपेंडिचर, एंड द बजट हैज कम टू मीन द फाइनेंशियल अरेंजमेंट ऑफ अ गिवन पीरियड विद द यूजुअल implications and that they have been submitted to the legislature for approval. सो कंपोनेंट क्या क्या होते हैं बजट के, कहाँ से स्टार्ट होती है? देखो, सबसे पहले आपका एक बजट रिसीट होती है एंड देन एक्सपेंडिचर होती है. जो रिसीट होती है दैट कॉन्टेन्स मेनी थिंग्स. वन इज रेवेन्यू रिसीट. Revenue receipt having two types, one is tax, one is non-tax receipt, and second one that we can say is a capital receipt. And capital receipt having three types, जिसमें कि एक पहला होता है रिकवरी ऑफ लोन्स, उसके बाद बोरोइंग अदर लाइबिलिटीज. यस, सबसे ज़्यादा गवर्नमेंट को जो पैसा आता है, एंड दिस ईयर ऑल्सो द सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग, दैट बोरोइंग एंड अदर लाइबिलिटीज सेज सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा गवर्नमेंट को आया, एंड दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट. And second one that we can say is the budget expenditure, and the budget expenditure having two types, one is revenue expenditure and one is capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure my friend having two types, planned होते हैं एक, दूसरा होता है नॉन प्लान, और कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर जो होता है हमारा वो होता है प्लान और नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर. नाउ वी मूव टू द नेक्स्ट वन. प्रोसेस क्या होता है बजट का हमारे पार्लियामेंट्री सेशन में? सी, सबसे पहले क्या होता है, फर्स्ट फेज में आप देखोगे, फर्स्ट फेज में क्या होगा, like the budget estimates are prepared by the Ministry of Finance, or Ministry of Finance उसके based on the estimated income and expenditure of the various ministries and departments sent to the Ministry of Finance. And third one, it prepares budget and that presented by the finance minister to be cabinet for approval, and the budget is ready for presentation to the parliament. उसके बाद क्या है presentation of budget में, ऑनरेबल जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस होते हैं ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट प्लेसेस द यूनियन बजट बिफोर पार्लियामेंट ऑन द ईव ऑफ न्यू फाइनेंशियल ईयर. बट यूजुअली न्यू फाइनेंशियल ईयर इस साल नहीं हम टर्म यूज कर सकते, बिकॉज देयर इज अ रीजन दैट कि सिमिलरली एट द स्टेट लेवल द फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर जो स्टेट के होते हैं वहाँ भी स्टेट का अपना एक बजट होता है. लाइक जो यूनियन टेरिटरीज हैं जहाँ पे स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव हैं वहाँ पे बजट अनाउंस होती है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन all money bills must be initiated in the lower house. मतलब जो आपका बजट है, the budget is known to be a money bill and that money bill must be initiated in the lower house. All the money bills are first placed before the Lok Sabha at the center and before the Vidhan Sabha at the state level, and the demand of the various tax proposal are included in the budget after the financial bill is passed. उसके बाद क्या होता है, एक appropriation bill होती है that is presented to give legal effect to the voted demands and to authorize as per the budget. So in this way हमारे country में क्या होता है, the budget are enacted in our country. Now let's move the budget procedure in parliament. Again जो आपके highlighted terms में बता देता हूँ, the union budget that is prepared by Department of Economic Affairs, that by the Ministry of Finance. If the somewhere is the question says कि budget in parliament that is prepared by Ministry of Finance, if there is no options with Ministry of Finance, then we can say Department of Economic Affairs. Earlier the budget was presented in two categories. एक रेल बजट होता था, दूसरा आपका जनरल बजट होता था. But now there will be no separate budget for the Indian Railway, which has been merged with general budget in August 2016. जी हाँ, अगस्त 2016 में यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने दोनों बजट को एक साथ अनाउंस कर दी. नाउ द बजट, द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रेफर्स टू द बजट एज द एनुअल फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट. द वर्ड, द टर्म budget nowhere been used in the Indian Constitution. It is popular name for the annual financial statement that has been dealt with the Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. तो जो word है आपका dear friend, the word budget, that has nowhere been used in the Indian Constitution. So Article 112 of the Indian Constitution, जिसमें President is responsible for presenting the budget to the Lok Sabha, or annual financial statement that takes into account a period of one financial year. So according to Article 77 Clause 3, the Union Finance Minister has been responsible by the President that to prepare the budget, also called the annual financial statement, and the piloted through the Parliament, and budget embodies the estimated receipt and expenditure to the Government of India for one financial year, and the financial year commenced on 1st April each year. बट इस साल फाइनेंशियल ईयर पे नहीं हुआ, बिकॉज दिस जो भी इंडिया में इलेक्शंस होते हैं उस टाइम में ऐसा नहीं होता. इलेक्शन से पहले इंटरिम बजट पास होती है, बिकॉज आपको पता है कि गवर्नमेंट आर नॉट श्योर कि नेक्स्ट टाइम उनकी गवर्नमेंट बनेगी नहीं बनेगी. जो रूलिंग पार्टी होती है इलेक्शन जीतने के बाद उस टाइम में वो फुल फ्लेज बजट को अनाउंस करती है. तो थोड़े बहुत हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट्स को भी देखते हैं कि यहाँ पे कि लाइक इंडिया का फर्स्ट बजट वाज फर्स्ट इंट्रोड्यूस ऑन April 7, 1860, when Scottish economist and politician James Wilson from East India Company presented it to the British Crown. And independent India first budget was presented on November 26, 1947 by the Finance Minister R.K. Shanmugam Shetty. जो R.K. Shanmugam शेट्टी जी हैं, इन्होंने फर्स्ट बजट इंडिया में अनाउंस की थी. ये जो जब भी आप कि एग्जाम में जो क्वेश्चंस होंगे वो चीज़ें आपके हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, और दैट इज़ वाई आई डिस्कस दीज थिंग्स विद यू. एनीवे, अब देखते हैं थोड़ी बहुत फैक्ट्स की बात करते हैं. फर्स्ट रेलवे बजट वाज प्रेजेंटेड बाय जॉन मथाई इन 1994 ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ आकवर्थ कमिटी. सो द लास्ट रेलवे बजट वाज प्रेजेंटेड बाय सुरेश प्रभु इन 2016, एंड उसके बाद जो जनरल टर्म्स है जनरल बजट दैट वाज इन मर्ज विद द general budget. So since 2017 the railway budget has been merged with the general budget, right? As of 2020 Morarji Desai has presented the budget maximum number of times, 10 times in the parliament. Nirmala Sitharaman abandoned the age old tradition of carrying budget in briefcase and switched to Bahi Khata in 2019, और 2020 is the longest terms of duration, क्योंकि वो मोर देन 2 आवर्स की वो स्पीच थी निर्मला सीतारमन जी की. मोस्ट नंबर ऑफ बजट जो है वो मोरारजी देसाई होल्ड्स द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग द मोस्ट नंबर ऑफ बजट इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ द कंट्री. ही हैड प्रेजेंटेड 10 बजट्स ड्यूरिंग द स्टिंट एज अ फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर फ्रॉम 1962 टू 1969 के बीच में, एंड बाय फॉलोड बाय पी चिदम्बरम, प्रणब मुखर्जी, यशवंत सिन्हा एंड मनमोहन सिंह. Until 1999, the union budget was presented at 5 p.m. on the last working day of February as per British era practice. Former finance minister Yashwant Sinha in 1999 changed to the budget presentation timing to 11 a.m. Until 1955, the union budget was presented in English. However, the Congress-led government later decided to print the budget paper in both Hindi and English language में. Yes, this is very important because एक आम इंसान भी हिंदी लैंग्वेज में होंगी तो उसे वो समझ सकता है. So in the paperless budget that 2019, the Sitaraman became the second woman that to have presented the budget after Indira Gandhi, who had presented the budget for the financial year somewhere 1970 to 1971. So railway budget 2016 that was merged, and now we go to the key features that was in the budget 2024-2025 and that conducted by the Ministry of Finance budget division. Here we are from the education industry. Very first thing that we discuss about, the government will provide education loan for at least 10 lakhs for students for higher education in domestic institution. E-vouchers for this purpose that will be given directly to 1 lakh students every year for the annual interest subvention of 3% of the loan amount, and 1,000 industrial training institutes that will be upgraded, and the model skill loan scheme that will be revised to facilitate loans up to 7.5 lakhs. And this is expected to help the 25,000 students a year, and medical colleges and sports institution that will be constructed in Bihar, that was given in the this year budget. And the next thing, the roadmap for our pursuit of Viksit Bharat. Why the term is Viksit Bharat, which means that developed India, Bharat. So there are four major cast there is a focused on. One is, we can say, Annadata. Annadata, the term has been used. Who is considered as an Annadata in our country? Of course that we can say the farmer is considered as an Annadata. And then second thing that we can say is a Garib. It means that poor, and then Yuva, and then we can say Mahilaye. So Mahilaye, which means women. So what exactly is the budget theme? Budget theme in general, we can talk about the very first thing they talked about employment. Second thing, they talk about skill India, which is also required for our country, because there's too much gap in our country. If you talk about, there is a gap, the things that what kind of education we are getting it, and what kind of job that we are looking at, what the company and what the MNCs are looking at, that having a very huge difference. That is why the skill is very, very important. And then MSME sector that need to be boosted up, because this is important for the rural infrastructure, and as well as it will generate the employment in our country. And the fourth term, that is the middle class, right? And now we talked about priorities for the Viksit Bharat and the productivity and resilience in agriculture. Around, as per the Ministry of Agriculture, we have more than 50% of their livelihood depends on the agriculture land. So the transforming agriculture research that is very required, because if you talk about the word aquaculture, the term is horticulture, the term is like hydroponics. Hydroponics is the farming without soil, farming with the help of water. These kind of techniques that need to be in our country. So transforming agriculture research, that for the comprehensive review of the agriculture research set up to the bring focus on raising productivity and developing climate resilient varieties. Like the term, we can say national cooperation policy, and for this, for systematic, orderly and all around development of the cooperative sector. Vegetable productions and supply chain, if you talk, like promotion of FPO, cooperatives and startups for the vegetable supply chain, for the collection, storage and marketing should be in the agriculture sector. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means that for oil seeds such as mustard, जैसे आपका groundnut हो गया, sesame, soybean and sunflower, that is for the good for our country economy. And 100 new high yielded and climate resilient varieties of 32 fields and horticulture crops that will be released for the cultivation by farmers. And one more thing, my friends, that is very important for the natural farming. Yes, so natural farming, 1 crore farmers across the country will be initiated into natural farming. That's supported by the certification and branding for the next 2 years. And 10,000 need-based bio-input resources that centers to be established. So next thing that is important for the shrimp production, as we know, the financing and shrimping farming, that for the facilitated through the NABARD. and digital public infrastructure for the farmers and their lands in the 3 years, digital crop survey that for the 400 district, and issuance of the Jan Samarth based Kisan credit card, that is also important for boosting of our agriculture sector is concerned. Now the next one we talk about, as I told you about, employment is very important. 1 month wage to the new entrants in all formal sectors in 3 installment. Like as per the ministry, if we talk about the difference in the formal and informal sector is that the formal sector having are able to provide very few jobs in our country. So government will reimburse EPFO contribution of the employee up to 3,000 per month for 2 years for the all new hires. And scheme A, that first timers, scheme B for the job creation and manufacturing. Like the very few things that you should know about our Indian economy. Just a second, my friend. Now scheme B, job creation and manufacturing. Like if we talk about the primary sector is concerned, next one is secondary sector, and the third one is that tertiary sector is. So we means India is lagging behind in the secondary sector is concerned. So that should need to be a boost up. So secondary sector that linked to the first time employee incentives for both employee and employee for EPFO contribution that is expected to 30 lakhs youth. And 20 lakhs youth will be skilled over a 5 years period, and 1,000 industrial training institute that will be upgraded in a hub and spoke arrangement with outcome orientation. And while we talk about the course content and design aligned as per the skill needs of industry. Loan जो है इसमें 7.5 lakhs with a guarantee from government promoted fund and expected to help 25,000 students every year. And the financial support for loans up to rupees 10 lakhs for higher education in domestic institution. So that is very good things for our country. And the third thing, that priority for Viksit Bharat, that inclusive human resources, development and social justice. Vikas bhi and Virasat bhi. So Vikas bhi or Virasat bhi means that plan for endowment rich state in the eastern part, that covering Bihar, that the state are Bihar, state are Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh for the generation of economic opportunity that to attain Viksit Bharat. Amritsar Kolkata industrial corridor, that will be development of an industrial node at Gaya, and allocation of 3 lakh crore for the schemes benefiting women and girls. Of course it is important because in our country the gap in the male and female is very huge. So Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Unnat Gram Abhiyan, and that Abhiyan improving the socio-economic condition of the tribal communities of over covering 63,000 village benefiting 5 crore tribal people. Because in our country the first time the tribal president is there. So obvious that the Manipur violence that is a witness for the tribals are not doing well in our country. So obvious in that context that we should know about the fact is that why it is important for the tribal development and for the welfare of the tribal people. It is very important. And Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, and according to Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, financial support of 15,000 crores that will be arranged in financial year 2024-25 and completion of Polavaram irrigation project that ensuring food security of the nation. Essential infrastructure जैसे water, power, railways, roads and we can say Kaporte node and Vishakhapatnam Chennai industrial corridor and Overkal node of the Hyderabad Bangalore industrial corridor. Next priorities for Viksit Bharat is that we can say manufacturing service. As I told you, that is scheme providing internship opportunity in 500 top companies, in 1 crore youth in 5 years allowance, and to 5,000 per month along with a one-time assistance of 6,000 through the CSR funds. CSR stands for corporate social responsibility. And one more thing is important, strengthening the tribunal and appellates tribunal, that to speed up insolvency resolution and additional tribunals that to be established. Urban developments की बात करें तो यहाँ पे stamp duty, that is important, that encouraging states to lower stamp duty for the properties purchased by the women. Street markets को करने की improvement करने की जरूरत है, because 100 weekly जो हाट्स होते हैं आर स्ट्रीट फूड हब्स इन सेलेक्टेड सिटीज, ठीक है. इससे जो इकोनॉमी है हमारी एटलीस्ट बूस्ट होती है. दैट इज वाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द गवर्नमेंट टू द बूस्ट अप दीज काइंड ऑफ हार्ट्स एंड स्ट्रीट मार्केट्स and transit oriented development plans for the 14 large cities with a population above 30 lakhs. And the fourth one is that promote water supply, sewage treatment and solid waste management project and service of 100 large cities through bankable project. PM Awas Yojana 2.0, that needs of 1 crore urban poor and middle class families, that will be addressed with an investment of 10 lakhs crore. And enabling policies and regulations for efficient and transparent rental housing markets with enhanced availability will also be put in the place. This is very, very important. And now the priorities for Viksit Bharat is energy security. You know that initiative with the private sector in nuclear energy, now setting up the Bharat small reactor, research and development of Bharat small modular reactor and newer technology for nuclear energy, financial support for shifting of micro and small industries of cleaner forms of energy, facilitate investment grade energy orders in 60 clusters, next phase span of 200 clusters, and for electricity storage and facilitation of smooth integration of the growing share of renewable energy. और उसमें गवर्नमेंट ने कितना खर्च किया है ये जानना भी इम्पोर्टेंट है आपके लिए. पीएम सूर्य घर मल्टी बिजली योजना में 1 crore rupees household opt-in free electricity up to 300 rupees units every month and 1.28 crore registration and 14 lakhs applications so far. नाउ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बात करें, बिकॉज किसी भी कंट्री की नींव होती है उसकी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. सो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोविजन के लिए यहाँ पे 3.4% जीडीपी का यहाँ पे खर्च किया गया. अभी हम ये भी जानेंगे कि जो हमारी सरकार है उसके पास पैसा आता कहाँ से है. So 1.5 lakh crore for the state as long-term interest-free loan that to support resources allocation. और phase 4 of the यहाँ पे that will be launched to provide all-weather connectivity for 25,000 rural habitation. Irrigation और food flood mitigation की बात करें तो बहुत सारे there are lots of vulnerable states where the flood management should be there, like in Assam, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, and for the assistance for reconstruction and rehabilitations in Himachal Pradesh as well. Next one, tourism sector पे, because tourism sector पे गवर्नमेंट ने कितना पैसा खर्च किया. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ विष्णुपाद टेम्पल कॉरिडोर एंड महाबोधि टेम्पल कॉरिडोर दैट मॉडल द काशी विश्वनाथ टेम्पल कॉरिडोर. और ये दोनों के दोनों आपके बिहार में बोध गया में हैं यहाँ पे. एंड द कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डेवलपमेंट इनिशिएटिव फॉर द राजगीर इज अ प्लेस, आपको पता है यहाँ पे is the whole religious significance for the Hindus, Buddhist or Jain. And the development of Nalanda is a tourist center that besides reviving Nalanda University that recently inaugurated by the PM Modi, and assistance to the development of Odisha, scenic beauty, temples, monuments, craftsmanship, wildlife sanctuaries, natural landscape and pristine beaches that making it an ultimate tourism destination. उसके लिए अनुसाधना नेशनल रिसर्च फंड है एंड गवर्नमेंट उसके लिए 1000 करोड़ कैपिटल फंड टू बी अनाउंस्ड. नाउ द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन रिफॉर्म्स एज वी कैन सी इट हियर. एफडीआई की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे, मीन्स दैट इज यूनिक लैंड पार्सल आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर्स होने चाहिए. सर्वे ऑफ मैप सब डिविजन ऑफ per current ownership, linkage to the farmers land records in urban areas that will be digitalized with GIS mapping, digitalization of the cadastral maps, establishment of land registry, taxonomy for climate finance, enhancing the availability of capital for climate adaptation and mitigation related investment. यहाँ पे FDI and overseas investment की बात हो रही है, simplify the facilitate FDI and that to promote opportunity for using Indian rupee as a currency for overseas investment. Improvement of data governance, collections, processing and management of data and statistics. New pension scheme NPS, a solution that address the relevant issues, protect the common citizens and maintain fiscal prudence that will be formed. अब बात करते हैं इस डेटा में कि गवर्नमेंट के पास करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट. माय डियर फ्रेंड, यहाँ पे करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट क्या है? सर व्हाट इज द बही खाता? तनुनाय मित्र, आपने बहुत अच्छी सवाल पूछी. बही खाता का मतलब होता है, बही खाता वेयर द गवर्नमेंट रिकॉर्ड्स ऑल द डेटाज वेयर दे हैव स्पेंड द मनी एंड जो उनके पास पैसा आया है वेयर दे विल स्पेंड. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ बही खाता. ये एंशिएंट टाइम में इट वाज यूज्ड, बही खाता. आई होप यू गॉट द आंसर. सो रोबस्ट इकोनॉमिक फाउंडेशंस की अगर बात करें तो रोबस्ट इकोनॉमिक फाउंडेशन में यहाँ पे इंप्रूवमेंट ऑफ द करंट अकाउंट डेफिशिएंट. बट वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी शुड नो बिफोर वी नोइंग द दिस ड्राफ्ट इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट, जिसे हम कहते हैं करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट है क्या. देखो, जब किसी भी कंट्री में यहाँ पे इंपोर्ट्स ज़्यादा होगा एज कंपेयर टू एक्सपोर्ट, that is we can say more import less export as compared to import, that is meaning to export. जब दूसरे कंट्री से आप पैसा, दूसरे कंट्री से बहुत ज़्यादा सामान मंगवाते हो लेकिन अपनी कंट्री से बहुत कम सामान आप उनकी कंट्री में बेच रहे हो, इन शॉर्ट में इसी कहते हैं करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट. ठीक है जी. उसमें एक और टर्म यूज किया गया यहाँ पे, डिक्लाइन इन PMI इंडेक्स एंड NPA. व्हाट डज इट मीन द वर्ड NPA? NPA का मतलब है नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स, that is non-performing assets. What exactly non-performing assets is NPA is? NPA non-performing assets means that whatever the amount you have taken from the bank and from any financial institution, and after 90 days if you are failed to give the answer, failed to give the amount what you borrowed earlier, that amount can consider as a non-performing assets. And make sure my friend that always keep in mind, now recently the bank started merging. The reason behind it that कि बैंकों के पास उनका NPA बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो गया था, मतलब उनके NPA बहुत हाई होंगे, that is why non-performing assets जब वो बहुत ज़्यादा पहुँच गए, that is why we can say the bank has been merged. So that is important to understand this data what is given here, the decline in the gross NPA and that scheduled commercial banks के अंदर. तो अब इस बैंक में NPA का मतलब कोई भी लोन अमाउंट आफ्टर 90 days if the borrowers are failed to give to the bank consider this amount as a non-performing assets. I hope this one is very clear for everyone. Now we go to the next one is here. Review on income tax 1961, simplification of TDS और litigation appeal and depending of the tax base. इसमें अब क्या चीज़ें हैं? सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक कस्टम ड्यूटी की बात करें यहाँ पे तो फुली एग्जम्प्ट किया गया 3 years के लिए, रिड्यूस किया गया 15% ऑफ मोबाइल फ़ोन्स जो होंगे, ऑब्वियस उसके ऊपर जो चार्ज थे लगे हुए मोबाइल इंडस्ट्री में वो अब थोड़ी कम होंगे. कस्टम ड्यूटी ऑन गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर पे 6%, प्लैटिनम पे 6.4% एंड BCD ऑन श्रिम्प एंड फिश सीड ऑफ 5% एंड exempted more capital goods for manufacturing of solar cells and panel. And that is boost for the strategic sectors like fully exempt custom duty on 25 critical minerals के ऊपर, that because these minerals are very important. And now reduce for compliance burden. अब यहाँ पे जो टैक्स रिजीम को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, एंजल टैक्स को एबॉलिश किया गया फॉर ऑल क्लासेस ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स, सिंपल टैक्स रिजीम टू ऑपरेट डोमेस्टिक क्रूज एंड दैट प्रोवाइड सेफ फॉर द सेफ हार्बर रेट्स. तो 0 से लेकर 3 लाख रुपीज़ तक जो है तो सेविंग जो है अप टू आप टैक्स में कर सकते हो 17,500 रुपीज़ तक टैक्स में. 3 to 7 लाख जो है आपका उस पर है आपका कितने 5%, 75% से 10 लाख पे, 10 to 12 लाख पे और 12 to 15 लाख पे 15% है, 7 to 10 लाख पे भी आपका यहाँ पे क्या है 10% है, और यहाँ पे मोर देन 50 लाख अगर आपकी एनुअल इनकम है देन वी अराउंड इन द 30 लाख 30% टैक्स. सो स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन जो होंगी सैलरी एम्प्लॉयड इंक्रीज फ्रॉम 50,000 to 75,000. Deduction on family pension or pensioner increased from 15,000 to 25,000. नाउ टैक्स प्रपोजल की बात करें यहाँ पे तो चेंजेस कस्टम ड्यूटी दैट वी डिस्कस्ड ऑलरेडी एंड allocation for major resources. But before we know the how the government allocate, we have to understand कि हमें गवर्नमेंट के पास पैसा आया कहाँ पे और गया कहाँ पे. तो आप देखें यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा यहाँ पे borrowings and other liabilities. Yes, this graph tells about the 27% of the amount that goes to borrowings एंड अदर लाइबिलिटीज. इसमें मॉर्गेज भी आता है, लोन अमाउंट भी आता है, उसमें आपके एनपीए भी होते हैं, जो लाइबिलिटीज होते हैं वो सारे इसमें इंक्लूड होते हैं. तो 27% जो गवर्नमेंट के पास पैसा आया दैट वाज फ्रॉम द बोरोइंग्स एंड अदर लाइबिलिटीज से. और उसके सेकंड पोजीशन पे बैठा है कौन? इनकम टैक्स से आया 19%, 19%. उसके बाद सेकंड पोजीशन पे क्या है? 18% जीएसटी और अदर टैक्सेस से 18% गवर्नमेंट को पैसा आया. और उसके बाद देखें 5% आपकी कस्टम ड्यूटी से, फिर 17% कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स से आया. और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेशन अभी किसके पास है? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेशन, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कोऑपरेशन है वो पहली चीज़. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कोऑपरेशन जो है वो हमारे पास वो है अमित शाह जी के पास. तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम द होम मिनिस्ट्री अमित शाह ऑल्सो हैंडलिंग द पोस्ट ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कोऑपरेशन. ये कॉर्पोरेशन है तो डो नॉट ट्राई टू गेट कंफ्यूज. कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स जो है 17% है, कस्टम 4%, नॉन डेट कैपिटल रिसीट 9%, 1% एज वेल एज 4%. बट पैसा गया है कहाँ पे? तो सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा हमने कहाँ पे खर्च किया? 21% अगर आप देखें यहाँ पे तो शेयर ऑफ टैक्सेस एंड ड्यूटीज़ में हमने खर्च किया. एंड उसके बाद 16% सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम्स में, जो हमने जितने भी स्कीम्स लॉन्च करते हैं, योजना लॉन्च करते हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना, उसके बाद गरीब कल्याण योजना, इन सारी योजनाओं पे सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम्स में जो होते हैं दैट एक्सक्लूडिंग कैपिटल आउटले ऑन डिफेंस एंड सब्सिडी, वो 16% खर्च किया हमने. सब्सिडी 6% एंड डिफेंस 8%. इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट जो है वो 19% का, पेंशन पे 4% एक्सपेंडिचर यहाँ पे. अब देखते हैं फाइनेंस कमीशन जो है अनदर ट्रांसफर वो 9% का है. तो अब देखते हैं एलोकेशन गवर्नमेंट ने कहाँ कहाँ पे पैसे खर्च किए. तो एलोकेशन में देखो डिफेंस पे हमने कितना करोड़ रुपीस खर्च किया, एजुकेशन पे कितना खर्च किया वो जाना इज इंपॉर्टेंट. 4,54,773 सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा हमने यहाँ पे खर्च किया. रूरल डेवलपमेंट में हमने खर्च किया 2,65,808 करोड़. एंड एजुकेशन में आप देखो तो यहाँ पे 1,25,638 करोड़. उसके बाद हेल्थ पे ओनली 89,287 करोड़. एनर्जी पे 68,769 करोड़. एंड सोशल वेलफेयर 56,501 करोड़. कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री पे 47,559. तो आप देखिए डिफेंस पे सबसे ज़्यादा खर्च किया विच इज़ ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर आवर कंट्री. रूरल डेवलपमेंट, येस भारत एक गाँव का देश है और वो वहाँ पे गाँव का जो डेवलपमेंट है होना इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो यहाँ पे रूरल डेवलपमेंट पे जो हमने खर्च किया दैट इज़ लेजिटिमेट हियर. एग्रीकल्चर एंड अलाइड एक्टिविटीज़ पे जो हमने खर्च किया वो भी एक जस्टिफिकेबल अमाउंट ही. बस येस एजुकेशन जो है इसके ऊपर और ज़्यादा खर्च करने की ज़रूरत है गवर्नमेंट को. एंड नेक्स्ट वन एमजी नरेगा पे ये सब डेटा इज़ नॉट मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट बट येस आपको यहाँ पे डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर में ये पता होनी चाहिए कि हमने गवर्नमेंट में कहाँ कहाँ पैसा खर्च किया. कैन यू ऑल्सो डू ए वीडियो ऑन द सक्सेस ऑफ 2023-24 बजट? Rate of success of the 2023-24 budget, Tarunay, is not, because rate of success in what terms you are asking? Please elaborate it. And now we talk about economic survey, but there is one question. See, whatever the things mentioned in the budget that we cannot say that government are liable to do, but this government are announcing the things कि ये हम ऐसा करने वाले हैं. Right. So now we economic survey, and economic survey में जो important चीज़ें हैं वो क्या है आपका? First thing that is 2024 में key pointers initially presented alongside the union budget 1951 to 1964, it has been separated and presented before the budget. और यहाँ पे जो प्रिपरेशन कौन करता है इकोनॉमिक सर्वे की? द सर्वे इज कंपाइल्ड अंडर द गाइडेंस ऑफ द चीफ इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर. एंड हु इज आवर चीफ इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर इज वी अनंता नागेश्वरम. एंड प्रेजेंटेशन द इकोनॉमिक सर्वे इज प्रेजेंटेड इन द पार्लियामेंट बाय द फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया. एंड इकोनॉमिक सर्वे 22 जुलाई को रिलीज हुई. जस्ट बिफोर द वन डे ऑफ budget, we publish the economic survey. Every year the Ministry of Finance publish a report called the Economic Survey of India, and this report usually comes out a day before the union budget that is presented in the parliament. और यहाँ पे एक डिवीज़न होती है इकोनॉमिक सर्वे की, दैट इज डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स, एंड डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स दैट क्रिएट्स दिस रिपोर्ट with guidance from the chief economic advisor, and it looks back at what happened in the Indian economy during the last 12 months, and also that gives an idea of how the economy will do in the current year. And the economic survey report also gives a snapshots of the current conditions of the Indian economy, and this includes जिसमें GDP, inflation, jobs and trade के बारे में बात करते हैं. The first time this economic survey was made in India was during 1950-51 के बीच में. Back then it was used to be presented along with the union budget, but from 1964 onwards it has been presented separately, not at the same time as the budget. I hope this one is very clear. यहाँ पे अगर की हाईलाइट्स की बात करें, which I have mentioned here, resilient economy की बात हुई है. It means that Indian economy grew over 7% in third consecutive year, that driven by state consumptions and we can say improving investment demand. And current account deficit, India's CAD improved from 0.7% of GDP in financial year 2024, that down to 2.0% in financial year 2023. Robust forest reserve at the end of March 2024, India forest reserve that could cover more than 10 months of projected imports of and 98% of external debt. Stable banking sector, the banking sector showcased stellar performance with double-digit credit growth, low NPA, and we can say improved assets quality. Core inflation भी falls हुई इसमें, that retail inflation was maintained around 5.4% and lowest since the pandemic due to effective policy intervention. और यहाँ पे short terms की बात करें तो short term inflation outlooks, the inflation is expected to decline by 4.5% in financial year 2025, and we can say the 4.1% in financial year 2026, assuming the normal monsoon and no external shocks. ग्रोथ स्ट्रैटेजी की बात की है हमने इसमें, जिसमें कि मेन फोकस होगा बॉटम अप रिफॉर्म्स की, जॉब्स की बात होगी, स्किल्स की बात होगी, एमएसएमई डेवलपमेंट की बात होगी, ग्रीन ट्रांजिशन की बात होगी, एंड एड्रेसिंग इनइक्वालिटीज. एफडीआई, जो नेट एफडीआई इनफ्लोज होगा, द डिक्लाइन फ्रॉम $42 billion in financial year 2023 to $26.5 billion in financial year 2024. Growing energy needs, India energy needs are projected to grow to 2.5 times by 2047 with significant progress. And with this significant progress in renewable energy and emission reductions, and agriculture grew at around 4.18% over the past 5 years, that industry grew at 9.5% in financial year 2024, and this is a very good thing that for our country, because the focus will be bottom up reforms, jobs and skill creation for the MSME development, green transitions and addressing inequalities. And while we talk about the FDI inflows, that is declined from $42 billion from financial year 2023 to $26.5 billion in the growing energy needs. So I hope this one is very clear for each and everyone here. And one more thing is important is that the economic survey and budget, the difference is that economic survey we publish just before the budget. Now let us recap again the things that we had discussed in the budget session. Just a second. So here are the things that we need to recap from the beginning, that what we discussed. My friend, whatever the term that we use, data is not much important while the UG exams is concerned. Database questions they will not ask to you, but here's the term which has been used in the key features in the budget that is important, like what is exactly NPA. Like the first thing that we discussed in today beautiful analysis session is here for the budget, is that we discuss about the word, how the origin of the word budget has been passed. It is origin from the French word baguette, which refers to a small leather bag, And the budget is, we can say, is the annual financial statement which shows the estimated income and expenditure of the government for the forthcoming financial year. And yes, the term budget is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution of India. The term is used for the annual statement. This is always keep in mind. And the third thing that we discussed about, according to Indian Constitution, all money bills. Why I'm talking about the money bills? No, see, the budget itself is the money bills, and all money bills must be initiated in the lower house, and all the money bills are the first place before the Lok Sabha at the center and before the Vidhan Sabha at the state level. I hope this one is clear. And now the things, next one is, as the constitutional provision is that annual financial statement, the term is used. The term budget, as I told you, that nowhere been used in the Indian Constitution, and it is the popular name for the annual financial statement that has been dealt with the Article 100 passed April 7, 1860 by Scottish economist and politician James Wilson. And the independent India, the first budget was presented on November 26, 1947, then Finance Minister R.K. Shantumam Shetty. And the first railway budget, and the budget was merged in 2016. उसके बाद फिर हमने क्या डिस्कस की थी आपके सामने, the first women कौन थी, 2019 सीतारमण became the second woman to have presented the budget after Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi जी ने budget को first time announce किया, the first woman who presented the budget for the financial year 1970-1971. उसके बाद फिर the key features we discussed, how the education sector 10 lakhs rupees loan for that, and the four major caste is here where the government are working on that. One is for the Garib, poor, and the second one is that Annadata, which is farmers, Yuva, which means youth, and Mahila, which means women. So there are four budget theme is that one is employment, second is skilling, and then MSME, and then middle class. So these are all things that we discussed, and I hope this one is very clear for each and everyone. If you have any questions regarding this, please let me know in the comment section, and please share this session, because see, if country will rise, if a common person will ask to the government, because how much money the government will collect it, and वो जो पैसा है उनको टैक्स में कितना पैसा आया, उस पैसे से गवर्नमेंट ने कितना पैसा खर्च किया, वो जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है. ये आपको एक अवेयर सिटीजन बनाता है. तो आप एग्जाम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से तो देखिए, बट ये भी देखिए कि हमारे लिए कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. फॉर द रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन यू शुड नो अबाउट कि हाउ द गवर्नमेंट्स विल, हाउ द रुपी कम फ्रॉम बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, एंड हाउ रुपीज गोज टू, हाउ रुपी गोज टू मीन्स दैट कि गवर्नमेंट कहाँ पैसा हमारा खर्च करती है, क्या वो कंट्री के डेवलपमेंट के लिए अच्छा है और नहीं है. एंड देन एज यू शुड नो दैट 27% अमाउंट ऑफ बोरोइंग एंड अदर लाइबिलिटीज दैट रुपीज कम्स फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, एंड व्हाइल द अदर थिंग्स दैट वी कैन सी 21% द स्टेट शेयर ऑफ टैक्सेस एंड ड्यूटीज में गवर्नमेंट पैसे खर्च करती है. आई होप कि दिस वन इज वेरी क्लियर. द बेसिक पॉइंट, हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड ऑन इकोनॉमिक सर्वे इज ऑल्सो वी डिस्कस्ड, and I hope this one is very clear. If you have any questions regarding this budget and economic survey, please let us know in the comment section. Our team is always here to help you. Make sure if you are new in this channel, please subscribe our channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notification of all our Pratham Test Prep mentors. Stay tuned, and please share this beautiful session to your friends and family. They should be aware about what is happening around us. And if you are new in this channel, again, please make sure to subscribe our channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon. Thank you so much, dear students, and we'll meet you in the next session. Till then, bye bye and take care once again. अपना ख्याल रखें.